Another thing is a handy tool that you'll have to invest in, a giant plastic spoon. I like the plastic more than the wood, no pores, and you can see why you need a long one. And this end is designed to go in the secondary fermenter, which is a bottle, and because you'll be stirring that as well. But we'll get into that on the next phase. This is the primary phase, the first phase, called the initial fermentation or primary fermentation phase. Another key item that you need is a measuring tool, really, for specific gravity. This floats in this little tube here, and there is ratings here that will help you determine how sweet the wine's going to be or how dry it's going to be. And also a book that I've designed for my winemaking. You can see how thick it is. It's got tons of wines in here. And I'll have all the ingredients that go in the wines, chemicals and fruit. I have a date here, when I've racked it. Now, racking is an interesting term. It comes from professional winemaking, where they store the barrels of wine on big racks. And so when they move the wine from the fermenters, primary fermenters, to the barrels and put them on the rack, I guess it's an in-house term, it's called racking. I measure the specific gravity and I record it. Then there's other components for adding sugar, water, fining materials. That's what you clarify the wine with. Fining is the technical term for that. And also potassium sorbate or other types of additives. Potassium sorbate is a standard chemical that you use to stabilize the wine. It actually stops the fermentation period. It causes the yeast more or less to be sterile in terms of reproduction, and the yeast hulls will fall out and in the sediment. And the sediment in the bottom of a wine is called lees, L-E-E-S. And so the lees is a mixture of spent yeast and the yeast hulls and fruit pulp that's sitting in the bottom of the wine jug. And when we move from the primary fermentation phase to the secondary fermentation, which is about a week apart, we will transfer this wine, called the must, M-U-S-T, we'll transfer the must into the secondary fermenter, and we'll leave the lees in this, and then we'll clean this up. And then what do you do with a clean bucket? You start another batch of wine. So that's important, because otherwise you won't have any fingernails left, because you'll be so anxious for your wine to be finished, and it takes, a month roughly to go from start to finish. So the best therapy is while you're waiting for wine number one to mature enough to be able to bottle. We're going to get all the way through the process, all the way to bottling, so that you'll have something that looks like this when you're finished. You have another wine coming up and another one after that. And besides the investment, there's different times of year. I mean, springtime when the strawberries come in, you can make strawberry wine, especially since they're so easy to use and crush and make into wine. And it's a very, you can drink it really quickly, where some other wines take a while. Now that's a fruit wine. Today we're going to be making a grape wine. All right, there's more equipment here. This was the measuring tool for specific gravity. This is a gravy squirter. It's got a little water in it because I cleaned it. And, it's the way we can go ahead and lift wine out of the containers and put it in here to go ahead and take a measure of the specific gravity. Another tool is a typical candy thermometer. I'm sure everybody who's doing any cooking at all, you have some sort of a candy thermometer like that. They're very inexpensive. And we use this primarily in the starting of the process to weigh, get the temperature really for the yeast. This is a typical packet of yeast.